Okay, let's get into this. This is about imaginary preparation. Now, I have imaginarypreparation.com. It's very, 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 very important. I sat down, I've been writing for years, and I had a big problem I couldn't solve because I went through my emotions lists at the time, several different times. But if it was 800, 900, 1200 emotions, and I was trying to figure out how do I do this so that um, how do I teach? So like we all have different maturity levels, whether it's not necessarily related to age or not age, but let's say um, there's all kinds of situations with this, and then topics of the film scripts, and then I couldn't figure out some actors were able to handle certain things while other actors were not. So how to be able to sort this out for them, to be able to make sure that anybody from even, I don't know, 11, 12, 14, 15 years old can come in and study. Because, and note with all those differences and still have it all be completely 100%, you know, I didn't want to show emotional preparation to 11 or 12 or 13, 15-year old and then have them not understand or have them get stuck in emotion of despair, anger, some sort of anxiety, suicide. It could be any of that stuff. Look, this industry's always been phenomenal, to be quite honest with you. It's constantly developing. There's always stuff that's going. So I decided to work with uh, imaginary preparation, specifically so that actors that work that way can work only using the imagination to be able to activate emotion. When we work in a way that we're only working with doing and acting instead of doing and being, that is, we both have the masculine and feminine aspects of life, right? The yin and the yang, whatever, however you want to slice it. We've got the ability to both listen and receive, and then we have the ability to also do. We can't just have one without the other. We've got to be able to train both facets of this. So the imaginary preparation is my solution to being able to allow people that are maybe younger than 21 who don't have much life experience to be able to go and do this work. Now, that being said, it's also imaginary preparations for adults who have been through life too much and going and only using their own life experiences to be able to activate their emotions is going to become maybe more burdensome than they really want. So they're able to use their imaginations to be able to access their emotion just by simply their belief system. They're able to put themselves within those circumstances of belief, and they're able to sort of cocoon that aspect. There's a few different techniques to be able to do that, and then the spark of emotion happens. Now, we're dealing with emotional preparation and imaginary preparation, where these are both techniques that are able to get emotion into interaction, which is the definition of talent, according to me. Now, talent is the ability to be interactive with that emotion. You're never going to have something interactive with the emotion unless you're in a receiving aspect. It's just the way it is. So when you look at the whole method versus not method techniques, etc., I break the whole thing down only to what I just said. It's as simple as it is. How are you activating your emotion? Are you activating a feeling or are you activating an emotion? A feeling is going to feel like in the chest area a little bit. About halfway down the chest area and down is going to be emotions. Sometimes emotions can be in different areas, but it really typically you're going to feel a feeling being more fleeting. Now, don't think for a second that working with the imagination is going to be any less powerful. Actually, the imagination is in some cases more powerful because of the actor's able to do at any age is to be able to activate their emotion and still keep their freedom. They don't go into a fear of loss because they know that they're working with their imagination. Now, that being said, I've got to remind you very gently, I teach releasing emotions. I called it for years and years and years acting baggage. A lot of time. This is going to be something that happens whether you're working with um, an emotion that you've sparked because of emotional preparation or whether it's an emotion that you've sparked because of your imagination. You're still going to have acting baggage, or at least you need to kind of check with yourself and take your own thermometer on that topic when you're working. It still works the same way with elatedness and excited as it does work with what would be considered normally a negative emotion like regret or shame. So I don't look at any emotion as being negative or positive myself, but I understand that is helpful for people to understand it. But it doesn't matter which emotion you're in. You're going to have a residue effect from your acting work when you're working with visceral techniques, which emotional preparation and imaginary preparation is. You're literally putting yourself into an activated state. So, this is as quickly as I can describe this. Now, the actual process, the process of. So, daydreaming, I would say, is a part of this. We want to really immerse yourself into the imaginary activating quality. We're not just there. Look, the problem with what people do with daydreaming and acting is that they have a daydreaming and they activate a feeling. They activate just light feeling. Then they go into their work and they see if they can work spontaneous or not. And if they work spontaneous and they've gotten a feeling, then they think that they've done preparation. And if they want to think that, that's I'm happy for them. But I know that you have more talent in you than that. So we can work in a way that has more talent, more resourcefulness, and more robustness. We're not just being able to do that technique for the sake of the technique. We're not just there to have a daydream to have a daydream. We're there to have a daydream to have an activation. Once we have the activation happen, now, just a side note, a good side note. It doesn't even matter the age of the person. Some people will, just with their imagination, they will take less than 2 to 3 minutes and they will find something that activates them that quick. That's how incredible this is. Later on, well, so my lists, LIST, the lists of the emotions and how to be able to activate them with imagination. Now, I have a subscription for the books if that's helpful to make it cheaper for people. It's like a monthly subscription. That's on the book site or however it's called. Other places have the books that you just get the books or just get the digital copies. There's I don't know, like over 30 books now or something, maybe more. So this is incredibly, incredibly effective because The imagination doesn't have limitation. See, as an adult, you're actually activating an imagination, and you're activating your imagination, which unlocks your freedom and limitlessness. You have a courage to step into and create with um, more freedom typically because you're working with imagination. Now that doesn't necessarily always be the case. If I work with some personal life experience myself, and I've been working on this for quite a long time, um, and I might be able to have the same finesse as somebody who's able to work just with their imagination. And I might be able to do that because I know that I've already worked very hard to release my life baggage so I can then use that for my acting. And then I know that when I'm working on my acting, I'm going to still have to go back and release my acting baggage. Even if it's like overjoyed excitement. you know, you know, it's okay, but you still can just let it go. So you get into the practice of being able to release what it is that's been activated when you've worked. I think that's a lot of stuff I just said. Let's just stay with that. If you need to, go back and re listen to it. We're getting through this. Good job.